Where is he at? He's a big old block. Yes. I'm going to try to do a Alien-Cowboy, so that's kind of that situation. So I started working on him last night, and we'll see how that goes. Let's move up to turn my volume down. There we go. So that is our little alien that we're working on. I don't know if you guys who are on the blue platform, the purple, the red. Either way, thanks for coming in. Thanks for hanging out. And we're going to attempt to carve him up a little bit more. So one of the first things you do when you are wood carving, I guess every time I do this, it's going to register. Yeah, that's fine. So I need to go ahead and strap this bad boy up. We're going to get this nice and covered in this strapping compound. So hopefully you guys will be able to see me. Oh, shit. That's a little sharp. Yeah, I'm just trying to be better about just trying to go live a little bit more. Hey, thanks for coming in. Something like this, right? Any one of these. Thank you. We're going to get this blade nice and prepped, nice and sharp. Is that side better? Nah, it's about the same. Like I said, if you guys are watching on this platform, welcome. Thank you kindly. It's so tricky to try to get that thing working right. I guess it's that finger. Anyways. And if you guys are on purple, blue, or red, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for coming and hanging out with me. Figured while my little dude is down and sleeping with a bottle, I can monitor him and go live with you guys. Work on my skill. Tony, what's going on? That looks like it's all right. Let's test it with the old wood testing block. Not so bad. Hello? Hello? Buongiorno. Spammers, yeah. I always try to answer just in case, like, I don't know where 670 is, but just in case, like, my girlfriend calls or, some kind of an emergency and I just don't recognize the number, I try to at least respond, hey, thanks, guys. All right, I feel like that blade's pretty good to go. I'm gonna put some more compound on this bad boy. And we're gonna sharpen this other blade. And that looks all right. Try to get this boy nice and sharp. because a dull blade will mess up your work or mess up a finger. And we don't want either one of those. Or the blade, you know, one of the three things. All right, I feel like that is good to go. Let's give this one a ye old test. Suppose I should do it where you guys can actually see it. Not so bad. All right, let's get carving and get this alien worked out. They suggest you you kind of hone your blade, or strop your blade before every cut, and every 20 to 30 minutes. Hey, thanks. Every 20 to 30 cuts, 20 to 30 minutes into cutting. And of course, it's gonna depend heavily on the wood. Denser wood, it's gonna be more work on your blade, so you're gonna need to strop your blade more often. But either way, let's get into it. So I'm working on let's change to this camera. Working on this cowboy alien. So the hat, don't pay attention to the hat. It's gonna look better. This is just a general shape, and of course, square hats are no bueno. So I'm gonna work that down, and I'm gonna thin it up. I left a lot of meat on this still because I want to be able to shape it. I want to come in and like scoop out portions of this so it looks more like an actual hat. And I have the alien's face up here. I left some room over here so I can put kind of a chest. I think I'm gonna put him in somewhat of a cowboy suit. So that's kind of the goal. And I'm going to have his body a little further back. So I want his body, I want his neck to be out, his head to be out, his chest to be, like gangly, like an alien would be, All right, let's get back to it. My babe's watching. Little man is out. He's downstairs with me. He's got a bottle. I gave him 6 ounces. He probably got 4 before he was out. He should have actually been sleeping earlier, but I tried to. He wouldn't go to sleep. So, it is what it is. All right. I'm going to do just a general sketch. I'm going to have his face like this. Coming in like this, and the neck. Back of the head coming in this way. So the neck will probably be one of the last things that I actually carve, because once I start, if I cut that in really thin, that neck, there's a chance it could snap off. It's going to be one of the, when I put a lot of tension and pressure on it, it's going to be one of the areas that is more likely to snap. So that is not what I want. So that will be his body, his head, which means there is a lot of material that I need to take off. So I'm going to put us in a good, I'm guessing right around here. Put us in a nice stop cut. Don't want to go any further that way. And we're going to cut this down. The kind of wood that I'm using is basswood. The equipment you can get on Amazon really cheap. I think at least you can get it on TikTok as well. There's lots of it out there. When I was searching for like wood carving to like follow other people in a similar field, it honestly was just tons of people trying to sell their wood carving kits. So I was thinking like, oh, me and Alicia were thinking like, hey, this might be some way that I can, pull some extra revenue, sell some of them. But honestly, there's so many of them out there. I found more people selling wood carving stuff than I did people actually selling it. He hasn't eaten much today. Just watch him. He had 6 ounces at 9, and then he had a whole strawberry, probably a fifth of a banana. I don't know. He had pretty good bit of peaches. Hey, thanks. I don't know if this still does it with the gloves on. It doesn't. I was hoping it would. Oh well. C'est la vie. All right. So now that I've got that, I'm going to start taking off some material. And I want here, I'm going to put that little stop cut there. And don't worry, I can currently see him really well. I thought he only had 4 at 9. No, he had 6 ounces. I wrote it in my little captain's log. I gave him 6 then, and then I gave him a bunch of fruit. Let's try to get another stop cut on this side. Honestly, when you're getting into something like this, you don't have to buy the best equipment out there. Once you start really getting into it, if you want to, if you feel like it's gonna really, like you're limited by your tools, that's fine. But honestly, this was probably a $30 bundle on Amazon. And strangely enough, I didn't know that I already had some woodworking stuff. I already had like some cheap chisels and blades. They were just like wrapped up in a Ziploc bag and just stuff that I had. Still not doing it. All right, let's see if I can get it to go now. Hey. But those are like pretty bad. There's like 12 of them, but they're not great. Honestly, if I wanted to make them great, I mean, they could serve a purpose. Like if I wanted to sit here and sharpen this, I could probably make this blade pretty sharp and will suffice and do the job. I feel like they're not very ergonomical. Ergonomics, it just doesn't feel good in your hand. I was about to ask where he was. He is about 8 feet from me, and he is passed out. Let's check it. I'm gonna use this as an anchor, and maybe not great. So it seems like with this one, I would assume the blade would have been sharp here, but it's not. The blade is actually sharp here. So it's doing fairly well from this side. Noted. But yeah, you don't need super insanely expensive gear. You can get by with something that's on Amazon, and it'll do everything that you need. And then from then on, as you advance and you feel like you've reached the limitations of your blades, maybe you need some specialization. You need some blades that, you're going to be able to do some scooping, or that are at certain angles, or gouges, or whatever. You can go to, reputable sites like Beavercraft. They're one of the big ones. And you can buy all your basswood from them and various other exotic woods. You can buy all your blades. You can buy everything you need. So I'm just trying to cut this down some. There's some show on upstairs. I think it's called like Little Big Awesome. It's strange. It's strange. It's almost like Adventure Time. There's weird cameos in it, like they have in like Yo Gabba Gabba. That's not a very equal carve. Like Weird Al, and I don't know if that was Imogen Heap or who, but one was the sun and one was the moon, kind of like the baby was the sun in is it Tinky Winky and all that. What are those guys? You know better than I do. Tinky Winky and Teletubbies. Yeah. All right, I gotta take this body down some, which means I have to do some chunking is what I call it. Most of my chunking's right there in front of me. It's my little man, but this is smaller chunks. It's just how I take off like large amounts of material. And there's lots of it that I need to take off. Honestly, something like a scroll saw, or not scroll saw, coping saw, or any kind of saw could kind of free up a little time for you. You could just carve out the general shape and then shape it with a blade like this. Got a flash goal. Don't know what that means. There's so much of this weird shit on this platform that I like have no idea. Hey guys, thank you for tuning in. I think it only registers it if my face is registered. No, it's supposed to do it. I don't know. It hates me. Maybe it's a left-hand deal. No. It's not doing it anymore. I can only do it so many times, apparently. Okay, maybe not. Okay. That was my last try. I think I'm going to put the blade, or put this on just this hand that I'm holding the wood in. It'll give me a lot more feel this way. I feel like I'm much more agile without the glove. It's just what you gain in agility, you lose in safety. So I basically have to just take this body down a good bit. Oh yeah. A shit ton of material. So I am just trying to chunk this bad boy. Just take off as much big boy energy as I can off this guy. You see the chips flying. Ginger, what's going on? She's like, he is here carving. Where is my grandson? He is like 8 feet in front of me. He is sleeping. He's very close. And he's sleeping, he's like a tank, man. I'm over here talking and chattering and nothing. He's out. He was long overdue for a nap, to be honest. He's had kind of an eventful morning. I had him hopping between like the bouncer and the jumper and playing in his playpen and playing upstairs. I was playing some Nina Simone and some Frank Sinatra, some Nat King Cole. You know, the classics. Ella Fitzgerald and Etta James. Had some Ray Charles going. Louis Armstrong. Yeah, that was a big old chunk. I love that. In a normal situation, I would not like that because that's too much material coming off. But in a case like this, when I'm trying to take off as much material as possible, I do not mind. That is the ultimate goal, is to take it off. I mean, I've got to, you can't see it from here, but see this line right here? that is basically going to be his chest. So I'm going to take it in pretty close to that, and he's going to be a little top heavy, so I don't know. Might have to put him on a stand. Here going flying. This is basswood again, if anybody's wondering what kind of wood it is. It's kind of like the starter wood if you're getting into wood carving, just because it's uniform, it's soft in comparison to a lot of other woods, and it is a consistent, so you don't have to worry about knots and burls and grain changes or anything like that. It's very uniform, so it's really good, like learner wood. And I mean, a lot of masters use this wood too. It's just a solid wood. All right, slowly working that down. We're getting a little more chin in there. I'm gonna have to, once I carve it out this way, have to start scooping underneath to try to get, I want that, I want that. But like times 3, because he's an alien. I want him to be, lanky. He's a gray, And he just walks through the town like, howdy, partner. If you guys have ever seen Sukiyaki Western Django, there's not aliens in it, but it is funny because it's a Western, but everybody in it pretty much is Japanese. Tarantino, helped, I won't say sponsor it, but he helped bring it to the States. So in the American version, there is a cameo at the very beginning. It's really weird. Very Tarantino. And so it's kind of like a Romeo Juliet, or if you've seen a lot of Westerns, it's like the stranger coming in town. You got 2 groups of people in town, or 2 gangs. They're opposed, but they have some form of peace or balance, and this stranger comes in to kind of mess things up. But everybody's speaking English, and they're doing it with a Western accent and using old school Western phrases, but you can tell that they don't speak English. So they're saying stuff like, it's time to hit the old dusty trail. It's great. I loved it. I own a steelbook version of it somewhere. Slowly getting that body down. All right, so I'm eventually going to have to start taking in some on the head. Which I don't think will actually be difficult. And what you do to one side, you want to do to the other. So I've taken that in a bit. So I want to do the same here. I'm doing this is considered a pull cut. So I'm using my thumb. And this would be a push cut. You're using your thumb to kind of guide it, so it's not all wrist going into it. And it also can be a lot more controlled using a push or a pull cut. You can take off large amounts of material in a very controlled way. I think this is one of the first jobs since I've started wood carving that so this is like, I didn't really look at too much inspiration. I mean, I know what a cowboy looks like. And initially it wasn't supposed to be an alien. Alicia brought that up last night. But I think I enjoy it a lot more when I'm doing something that isn't following some like fundamental handbook, or you get what I'm saying? Like templates, you know, something that somebody else has carved a billion times, when I can get in there and just kind of figure it out on my own based on fundamentals I've learned thus far. All right, so slowly getting them down. Robert Knox, what's going on? See if that works. This thing just hates me, man. It just does not want to do my little... I added that as an effect, and it still doesn't like me. Effects. We'll do that one. Hey! It just stopped working for some reason. Maybe there's only so many times I can do it. But either way, Gus and Jack, thank you for tuning in. I am wood carving a Alien-Cowboy. I'm still very new to wood carving. It's part of my Path to Polymath series of trade skills, which is my show, where I go from zero knowledge to being somewhat proficient at something. Once I get decently proficient, I'll have an interview with a master of that skill, and then I'll move on to the next skill. That could be sculpting, that could be oil painting, it could be mosaics or stained glass windows. I don't quite know yet. Pottery. So I'm going to try to get his head a little alien-esque. Take some material off the back. Try to round off some of these corners real quick. This will eventually be a cowboy hat, but these corners were driving me crazy. So I'm kind of clean them up a bit, and then towards the end, that's when I'll really like start to shape the cowboy hat. Get a nice rounded edge. I mean, it's squared, but it's you know, not as bad as it was. All right. We still need to take that body in some. So I'm just going to be chomping away, trying to take off a lot of material. All right. I don't want to take the neck in too much because that will be a point of breakage. So if I go too thin on that too early, Stephen Griffith, what's going on, man? Andres. If I go in too early on this, working on the neck, that whenever I start really carving into it, May, what's going on? Thank you. How come it doesn't register my finger anymore? It's the glove, probably. Oh goodness, that's a chunk right there. Maybe we'll back cut it to kind of ease it up a bit. So I think I'm going to take in a lot of material towards the chest because I think I want him to have a little belly, you know, have like a tassel jacket or something on and just some kind of like belly sticking out from underneath it. Maybe I'm going too crazy with it, but I feel like that's, if he did have an outfit, he would have like a little belly protruding. Like I was saying earlier, I think when there's jobs that I do like this that are, I don't know, not according to a template, not following the rules of like a beginner gnome or something like that. Like you got to do this cut, you got to do this cut, that I can just use the fundamentals that I've gathered along the way, that I end up enjoying it a lot more and kind of use my imagination, my creativity to kind of drive it, when before I would feel like I have to stick to somewhat of a script. How much more? I think just a little bit more here. Should take off some of these rips. All right. He is coming together, man. All right. Next, I suppose I should start shaving the face down. Do it, lady. All right, when I'm going this way, I find that it's ripping more than I would like, which means that I'm not sticking to the grain like I should, and it's tearing instead of cutting, which is not ideal. Dennis, what's going on, man? Thank you for tuning in. BLC, Scott Farmer, what's up? Hey, thanks guys for coming in. I'm carving a cowboy alien. So he's gonna have a little bit of a gut on him, cowboy hat. I gotta still fine tune well, a lot of this. This is a very rough, rough job right now, but he'll get there eventually. It just takes a little bit at a time. So I've been currently carving for about 35 minutes. So now would be a good time to go ahead and get this blade nice and stropped up. Get some more compound on there. Get it nice and honed so it does the cleanest carves it can. When you have a blade like this, that obviously the blade is longer than the strop, you have to you keep the angle, but you drag it across and pull back a little bit, so you're making sure that whole blade is getting it. Now I'm wanting to keep a consistent angle. It's not completely parallel, just a very slight angle. I mean, what kind of angle that is, I don't know. It's like 10 degrees or something. Very slight, 8 to 10 degrees. Just enough to kind of put an edge on there. Now if my blade gets worse, then there's other ways to sharpen. There's like people who use like the Japanese stones for sharpening, and that I don't know that method. I mean, I'm not familiar with that. I mean, to somewhat. I've just never done it with these blades, and I'm sure if I ever get like a nick, or if the blade really starts to go out on me, if I just really neglect it, then this will not keep it sharp. All right, so that seems fine. Let's work on shaving this face some more and see if that kind of helped a bit. Oh, much better. See, I was noticing earlier it was starting to rip at his face. And we do not want rips. We want clean cuts. No, that was a rip. It happens. Thank you guys for tuning in. Oh my God, I'm ripping so much. I hate this. The blade is nice and sharp. I don't get it. I guess I have to just really be better about like managing my angles. It's just so awkward because I've already cut the hat, so I have to kind of get in here, and it seems this way is most ergonomically sound. I suppose I could do what they call it as a pull cut, where you're pulling the blade towards yourself, but honestly I'm not the best at that. I feel like I usually take off more material than I intend, like that. That was a rip anyways. He's got this like hump on the back. Let's get that off there. All right, let's shave this side up some. And see, what's crazy though is like, you would think symmetrically, if I do this on this side, it should have the exact same effect as if I do it on this side. If I'm doing this push cut, no. Before that was ripping over there, and this is like a nice clean cut. This is working well. Like I'll be able to shape the face nicely. Ooh, that is more material than I intended to take off. I've got to be easy about that. Okay. To minimize, I had to come in with a pull cut. Jesus. Slowly trying to get this alien's face nice and edged out. Okay, right here is when things start to get a little dicey, is because there's just a little bit of wood right here. So if I put too much stank on it, it could just snap the whole head off. Is it catastrophic? No. You'll basically have to glue it on there. You'll have to go back and post and glue it up. I'm trying to take off some material going this way, so whenever I start to use the what do you call it? The scour, the skew, the when I start coming in here with this, the scoop, that I don't have to take off as much. And I have not sharpened this at all today, so I probably should not be using it. All right, we're gonna take some more material off of this face. Oh my God, it's ripping. All right, which way? This way? It's one of the interesting things about wood is, even though this is the most, basswood is the most reliable as far as its grain, doesn't mean you still don't have to be mindful of the angles that you're taking. What works on one side won't necessarily work on the other. So a clean cut that I do on one side, if I try to do the same thing on the other side, it's going to take a huge chunk out. So here, because this side has been ripping a lot, I'm doing just the slightest angle, and I'm just going to slowly work it. Just a very, very slight angle. A lot of times that'll keep you from ripping anyways. An angle that's pretty close to, actually it's probably about half of what I use to sharpen the blade. Be very easy right here. Very slight angle. And I'm using his shoulder right here as somewhat of a, like leverage, like a lever. Okay, slowly, kind of like neck sticking out, alien. I'm giving this kind of bulbous head, which means I'll have to take that neck in. It's just that's one of the last things that I kind of want to do, because it will, once you take that neck down that much, it will it'll be a breaking point right around here, where if you put too much pressure in, it'll just snap. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Shola, Neil, what's up, guys? Harley, Rathburn, Tony, Rodney, what's going on? People are just kind of like swiping and going away. I guess that is the nature. All right, this will do. I'm gonna come in and try to form out this hat a bit. And since this is a angled blade, it's my little scoop. How I sharpen it is I put it on one edge, and as I pull, I turn it. they actually have something here for that. You'll have to get some of this compound. Which one's our fit? That's our fit. And on all the sides that it could be, you want to put this compound on there. So this is kind of a different way to hone. I mean, it's still a similar idea. You're still dragging metal across the surface to take off, you know, very small fragments of it till you have like a sharp blade. But this is wood with compound versus leather with compound. And then you will put some on this. So this is what you would probably use for if you have a chisel that is of that angle, it'll allow you to, I didn't do that, but I mean, it's whatever. It'll allow you to pull across this and get a nice, but for right now, I'm gonna go back to this boy right here. Make sure I have my angle right. Let's give him a good old test. Not so bad. I think that'll do. So we're going across this side. I'm going to take off a lot. If you can see the wood right here, see this wood? It's like a very lighter color. Luke Skywalker. What's going on, man? And then look at that versus that. Joseph Slay. I don't know if you can see a difference, but this is much denser wood. This is towards the top. So it is going to be a bitch and a half to carve. I feel like I almost need a vise or something to kind of really notice that as I'm going underneath and getting past this dense wood, how the wood kind of lightens up. I'm getting past that like top grain. The top grain is just super dense. All right, we've got a little bit of an angle there. It's probably hard to see. Grandpa, what's going on? Forgot to call you last Friday. It's not my actual grandpa. It's just I actually did forget to call my grandpa and grandma last Friday. I try to call them up once a week, you know. You never know how much time you have with people. So while he is alive and with us, same with my grandma, I try to give them a call, see how they're doing. I say this actually requires a lot more energy than a traditional carve. I really got to put some muscle in it in these. Ronnie, what's going on, man? Thanks for coming in. Little lean good. I am working on my Path to Polymath series, where I go from zero knowledge and a skill to somewhat proficient. And currently that skill is wood carving and whittling. Next, I don't know what it be. It could be sculpting, could be pottery, could be stained glass windows, mosaics, leather work. I'm not quite positive yet. Take that cowboy hat in. Cool. And this is the front, so I'm gonna try to take some down here too, because cowboy hat always has a nice little dip at the top. And I'll come in later and like clean that up. Invite Woo079 to join live. Eddie, fishing guy, what's going on? I too like to fish. Do you live stream your fishing? Or it's just something you do in private that you just enjoy doing? All right. I think that's about as good as it's going to get. Now, it's going to need to come off the top here because it kind of, has a little thing like that. Victor, what's up? We were trying to get this cowboy alien worked out right. He looks like an abomination right now. Thanks for tuning in. But eventually, as I carve him down, he will look better. Like there's a little heart on my alien. I guess it's registering my finger as doing the heart, but I'm trying to show you the Alien-Cowboy. He's coming along, son of a bitch. He's coming along. He started from something like this. So I've had to just really just work a ridiculous amount of material off to try to make that work. And honestly, he still has a long way to go. I'm trying to take that chest in. And give him a nice old belly. And then I think I might give him an arched lower back. Because he's not going to be standing straight. This wood is almost like this wood up here, just super dense. All right, thank you guys. Boy, this was charging all night, so apparently it should be good. Oh, there it goes. Well, that's where we're at right now. He will be an alien at some point. I'm getting the hat worked out. Now that I have the grooves kind of cut in, I'll start to shape the hat a little more. I'll get the neck worked out. I'm trying to give him kind of like a belly going out this way, but then kind of like, you know, like scoliosis almost. Just kind of really like curved. So the head leaning forward, back, you know, back leaned in, rounded kind of back and shoulders coming in as a dip right here. I'll probably have to draw it out a bit more, but that's the goal. I have to shape up the face a bit. It's one of the last things I'm really going to do is try to focus on this area, because it will be one of the areas that, like, it's one of the ones that's going to snap if I put too much, if I cut it down too much. Pie-eyed, what's going on? If I cut it down too much, it's going to snap with too much pressure. So that is not ideal. But plugged in good, kind of. Either way, I think that's probably a good time to end it up. It's been about an hour on the show. I'm gonna try to come back tomorrow to finish him up. Actually, I'm trying to go live up until Friday. So I will see you guys then. Thank you for coming in to my little show, watching me learn new skills. It's been great. Oop. Yeah. Oh, shit. I hope you guys have a great night. People who are watching on purple, red, and blue platforms, thank you for tuning in. You guys here, thank you for tuning in. I will see you guys tomorrow. Hope y'all have a great day, and ciao.